Okay, this piece is called Contemplation. There's a candle in a window, a beacon in the dark winter's night. Snow is piling high, winter solstice speaking. People walking under street lamps stand out in the stark, frigid night. Trees shake against the cold, city swallowed in steeping darkness. The earth has turned a shade of pale. A measure of crystal sits on my windowsill. Hot coffee wakens my soul. A jazz lullaby soothing to my ears. Tonight I wonder, sit and ponder. Clouds roll by a hanging moon. It's a late night looking for magic in my pen. The pen that gives me wings, the night unfolds before me. Writing on the hollowed walls of time. Below the street has been quiet and tranquil. I can feel my children, they are ever with me. My mind floats between the swirling snowflakes. Moving snapshots move to past lives, lovers, friends, and foes. My resentment's released, I only hope for the best. Evaporated melancholy, only smiling contentment. Being released from the world's sordid teeth. A day late and a dollar short, the winners and the losers. In the end, only a little pampas dust. Doesn't matter. We're born, we live, we go. There's a sign in my mind that says to the world, keep out, do not trespass. This is a safe and sacred place. It's only when I conceive that makes it so. A light's been kept on for me, a candle in the window. What does it mean? I'll tag it, make it real. A light called peace in the deep winter's night. This next poem, probably about one of my favorite old poems, is by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, Kubla Khan. In Xanadu did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure-dome decree, where out the sacred river ran, through caverns measureless to man, down to a sunless sea, so twice 5 miles of fertile ground, with walls and towers were girded round, and there were gardens bright with sinuous rills, where blossomed many an incense-bearing tree, and here were forests ancient as the hills, enfolding sunny spots of greenery. But oh, that deep chasm which slanted down the green hill athwart a cedar cover, a savage place as holy and enchanted as ever beneath a waning moon was haunted. A woman wailing for her demon lover, and from this chasm with ceaseless turmoil seething, as if this earth in fast thick pants were breathing. A mighty fountain momentarily was forced, amid whose swift intermittent burst, huge fragments vaulted like rebounding hail, or chaffy grain beneath the thresher's flail. And mid these dancing rocks at once and ever, it flung up momentarily the sacred river. 5 miles meandering with an amazing motion, through wood and dale the sacred river ran, then reached the caverns measureless to man, and sank in tumult to a lifeless ocean. And mid this tumult, Kubla heard from afar ancestral voices prophesying war. The shadow of the dome of pleasure floated midway on the waves, where was heard the mingled measure from the fountain and the caves. It was a miracle of rare device, a sunny pleasure dome with caves of ice. A damsel with a dulcimer in a vision once I saw. It was an Abyssinian maid, and on her dulcimer she played. Singing a mount of Bora, could I revive with me her symphony and song. To such a delight twould me win me, that with music loud and long, I would build that dome in air, that sunny dome, those caves of ice. And all who heard should see them there. And all should cry, beware, beware, his flashing eyes, his floating hair. We would circle around him thrice, and close your eyes with holy dread, for he and honeydew hath fed, and drunk the milk of paradise.
Are you just going around right now, Jim?
Oh, really? Yeah. Could you add 3 to the list?
Well, we're going around when it comes to your point.
All right.
I said when we come to the end of going around, I said we'll tack you on, Jim.
Okay.
It's kind of between that guy and that.
All right, whatever you want to do.
Last night I was having dinner with Dieter Storl, Austrian poet. We're from Vienna, who was doing a visiting gig at Bowling Green State University. He just took off today back to Vienna, his home city. And he said how beautiful that city was. Different geological layer of history imbricated. He gave me, as a parting gift, his writing, which I never had a chance to read because his writing is in German. But this is in English, so a language I can understand. So I'll read a little bit of it in commemoration of Dieter. Zen mystical poet of Vienna, who, like me, loved that movie by John Woo the Killer. This is called When the Landscape Seasons by Peter Spurl. The door is dripping, it is damp, the tongue is exhausted for seconds, only wheezing, the tongue hanging out with all these fingers and teeth and ears and a wheezing to dawn like this until the body ripped open on the floor, the heart in its beating and passionate new ears beginning, the chin is in the armpit, the finger moves out, only flashes like each pulse beat, and a dripping and pouring from all the hair and tongue cuts across the field, and the bodies and faces turned thrown to the ground, and laying there, the forearms, only a few body parts, like now thrown limited to a few body parts from all pores, everywhere. And pours from all the hair, no beginning at all on the ground like this without any fever, always somewhere else, long since the folks began the finger wheezings of the cabin during a snowstorm, through a screaming on the corridor to creep out, and a clapping the crowd out of the last garden gnome when the fork into the face of a piece of meat on a morning like today, to wake up like this on a morning like this, to go out like this. The street is empty. Still take another 10 breath. Today, wolves and fish populate these senses. In the middle of a thick forest, you follow the tracks. Stand still, you follow the tracks with a scent on several branches at the same time like this. And this wheezing in the ground to follow until the breath is perceptible. The breath is perceptible. The pleasure stays long on the ground. Men kneel on this ground and hold their heads in the grass. They lament to death. Perhaps they are lamenting themselves. No trembling now. The glistening sun, the fast shadows in front of eyes. A stone is thrown against the sun, such a wheezing, the later twitching of the face. What's been suppressed grows long, pushing until it strikes us in the face, and is already gone. As soon as it struck us, the finger, in the soft neck, in the crevices, long seconds, only the sun which stands open. There a telephone conversation. Early in the morning, a bird goes past, infiltrated by February by ants, insects. They run so fast. There are no more images. There the train goes irregularly, slowly. Something is flying, never mind. Aquarius and autumn on these fingers so near that the salt of the fingertips begins to jump. The cracks, for example, here in laughter behind the horizon for a forest assemble. The family bent forwards, wheezed on the ground. On the station lies a fir tree branch or a yellow line like this left over from Christmas, from the last one. Probably that pushed itself forward into the new year. On this skin, there are these senses. The station manager waves from his camera. No more waiting now, no waiting. All only a dying and a living that was hardly noticed. In a natural shadow play of the trees, a cat runs across the street. Don't come back.
His work, is it available in English?
You know what? I think because there was a professor, either BG or somewhere, he told me was translating a selection from his book called The Random Walks. But it's only a selection. But he invited people to check out Vienna. Maybe we can look him up when we go there.
Cool.
And have us guide us through the poetic landscape of Danube River and everything else.